Hi, and welcome to another episode of Twisted Does. Today we are doing cooking. I will be making some muffin pan pot pies, chicken, cheese, and mushroom is going to be the filling, and a apple pie with homemade filling. I'm going to do some prep work off camera, and then I'll bring y'all back in as we start combining things. All right, over here I have 6 cups of water. That's a recipe for our muffin, well, the base recipe, because I'm changing it a little bit. But this is out of this month's issue of Southern Living. Let's see, for our apple pie filling, however, we're going to need sugar. This is 8 gala apples, cored and peeled, with the juice of 1 lemon. There's also ground cinnamon, cornstarch. Because we're using cornstarch, this is not a good recipe for canning. Don't do it, you're going to regret it. Salt, and I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla, even though it doesn't call for it. Apple pie filling recipe is courtesy of, see, that is hard to see. Let's try over here. It's courtesy of crazyforcrust.com. Give them a visit. Apparently they have a good recipe. All right, over here we have 2 2/3 a cup of sugar, just regular white granulated sugar. 2/3 a cup of cornstarch. I'm using Argo. Apparently they do make a type of cornstarch for canning, but I haven't looked for it, so I don't know how available it is. Let's see, what else do I have in here? I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I am using McCormick. There you go. It called for nutmeg. It wasn't in the ingredients list. I might have just got cut off from the printer. But I put about a teaspoon in there. You know, you never really need a whole lot of nutmeg. And then half a teaspoon of salt. The recipe says to just throw it all into the pan and then mix it, but I really want it to be together, so I pre-mixed it. Nothing wrong with it. Also, if you make recipes a lot, you'll find that your recipe never really turns out the picture. And if you really want it to turn out right, make sure you sift your flour and sugar and all that. I didn't, so we'll see how this turns out. Alright, I went ahead and put the mixture into the pot. I'll give it a good mix, make sure everything's nice and combined. Anybody who's worked with cornstarch before, especially in soups, sauces, is when I usually use it. You'll find that cornstarch doesn't really like to dissolve in cold water, so you might want to make sure the 6 cups of water, if you're doubling the recipe like I did, you're using, or at least, a little warm. Let's see. Alright, we got it on medium heat, and we're going to stir this frequently until it starts to boil, and then we're going to add in the apples over here. Alright, you might, because I'm doing this on medium heat, and that's going to take a while to bring it to a boil. I know some of y'all are going to be like, oh, let's hurry this up, and stick it on high heat. Don't do that. Never do that. You should never cook on high heat unless it's something you're searing or something like that. You're just going to burn it. It doesn't taste better. It tastes better if you cook it right. Our mixture has not quite started to boil yet, but as you can see, it is definitely getting thicker thanks to the cornstarch. Once it does boil, we're going to let it boil and continue to stir it frequently for about 2 minutes, at which point we'll add in the apples. See you then. And we're ready. I'm going to go ahead and start adding in these apples. not. They look a lot like potatoes right now. I know they're not potatoes. My hands are gonna be so sticky. Melody, if you watch this, just trust. I don't have any paper wipes. All right. Mix those in, and we are gonna let this. I actually don't know what we're gonna do. Add the apples. We're gonna lower the heat, cover, and let it simmer for about 5 to 8 minutes. I'm probably gonna lean on the 6 to 7 range because that's just how I roll. Once these are ready to be poured, once these are done, we'll come back. All right, our apples. I'm sorry, I know I say all right a lot. Nah, I just realized that. But anyways, our apples are cooked. I'm gonna pour these into jars and let them cool down to room temperature for our pie later. I'm also gonna use some of these apples for apple turnovers tomorrow. I'm just gonna prep them tonight, and my friend's gonna make them for a client tomorrow. I actually ended up cooking this for, let's see, I had about 9 minutes. I wanted my apples a little softer than they were. So, cooking is a lot of what's right for you. And once you learn to do more, you can do more. And there you have it. This is our apple pie and turnover filling. We will come back when I actually, pour it into the pie itself. See you then. Alright, I bought pre-made pie crust. Pull them out, let them sit in the wrapper for 15 minutes. Come over here, lay the first one over, press it down to the pan, cut around the edges of the pie. And then the second, all we're doing over here is just wrapping it. Let's see if I can. Tucking it under the bottom one. And that messed up. I'll fix that in a minute. Then we're going to cut some slits in the top and bake it at 425 for about 45 minutes. And there you have it. Ignore my crust. It's my first time ever making an apple pie. And we're going to take this and put this in the oven. There we go. After the first 20 minutes, you're going to want to take it out and wrap some foil around the edges of the crust to prevent it from burning. When it's done, we'll come back. Alright, well, the pie is done. I pulled it out. My pie had cracked a little bit, but that was my fault because when I pulled it out to wrap the crust, I broke it a little bit. It's alright. It'll still be good. Definitely has that homemade look. Once it cools down, I'll get my taste testers in here. They'll let you know how it is.